So what's up, booktubers? I am sharing a screen and hopefully everything is going okay because I've never really recorded this way. I'm using Zoom. I'm actually kind of testing out Zoom to see if it'll work for me the way that I've typically used StreamYard. So I want to try Zoom, see how this works. So the reason that I'm talking today is because I just noticed this book that came out by Dr. Robin DiAngelo, and she wrote the book White Fragility, which last year I put as my top nonfiction read for the year, which actually reminds me that I need to read more nonfiction books this year because I have not read very many nonfiction books. I think I've only read one nonfiction book this year so far. So I definitely did up my game in terms of nonfiction book reading. But I did see this particular book, and again, it was served to me as an ad on Facebook. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll go ahead and check it out because I did think that White Fragility definitely had some value to a lot of people, although I did get a little bit of pushback for doing that particular video, which I'm not really surprised by, but it was nonetheless kind of interesting to say the least. So let's take a look at this one. Nice Racism, How Progressive White People Perpetuate Racial Harm. So I can see maybe the opposite of what happened with White Fragility, in that I can imagine that there's some people that maybe did not immediately like White Fragility might be a little bit more receptive to this. On the other hand, anytime you mention race in any kind of way, people get triggered first and then ask questions and scrutinize later. So I can probably suspect that that'll be the case here so far. It looks like she's got 5 ratings so far. In the category of civil rights and liberties, it was actually the #1 new release, so it's definitely off to a good start in terms of selling. And it's got 4.5 stars. I see it's got 23% 1 star, 23% 2 star. And so typically when you see this, I find that it's people who did not like the title, did not like the subject, period, and probably automatically just gave it the lowest rating they could possibly give it. So yeah, I'll go and take a look a little bit closer at the comments in the ratings to see if that is indeed the case. So, but first and foremost, let's take a look at the description for this particular book. And it says, building on the groundwork laid in the New York Times bestseller White Fragility, Robin DiAngelo explores how a culture of niceness inadvertently promotes racism. In White Fragility, Robin DiAngelo explained how racism is a system into which all white people are socialized and challenged the belief that racism is a simple matter of good people versus bad. DiAngelo also made a provocative claim. White progressives cause the most daily harm to people of color. In Nice Racism, her follow-up work, she explains how they do so. Drawing on her background as a sociologist and over 25 years working as an anti-racist educator, she picks up where White Fragility left off and moves the conversation forward. Writing directly to white people as a white person, DiAngelo identifies many common white racial patterns and breaks down how well-intentioned white people unknowingly perpetuate racial harm. These patterns include rushing to prove that we are not racist, downplaying white advantage, romanticizing Black, Indigenous, and other peoples of color, BIPOC, pretending white segregation just happens, expecting BIPOC people to teach us about racism, carefulness, and feeling immobilized by shame. All right, so DiAngelo explains how spiritual white progressives seeking community by co-opting Indigenous and other groups' rituals create separation, not connection. She challenges the ideology of individualism and explains why it's okay to generalize about white people, and she demonstrates how white people who experience other oppressions still benefit from systemic racism. Writing candidly about her own missteps and struggles, she models a path forward, encouraging white readers to continually face their complicity and embrace courage, lifelong commitment, and accountability. Nice Racism is an essential work for any white person who recognizes the existence of systemic racism and white supremacy and wants to take steps to align their values and their actual practice. BIPOC readers may also find the insider's perspective useful for navigating whiteness. And the book, it says, also includes a study guide, which I think White Fragility did too. I believe so. I may be speaking out of turn here. So 220 pages is the print length for this particular book. So pretty short and to the point, relatively short and to the point, which is my reading preference. And it was just released June 29th, 2021. So interesting that I just started getting served ads for that. So again, this is a follow-up to White Fragility. And it looks like, generally speaking, it touches on a lot of the same topics that White Fragility touched on, but perhaps with a little bit more of an emphasis on progressives, well-intended progressives. And so this is an interesting book, and I might at some point pick that up. I definitely want to take a look at some of the reviews. I won't necessarily take a look at them right now on screen. I'll protect the identity of the people that chose to leave comments, but I'm supposing that as I stop to share, I'm supposing that, and I'll go look here off screen to see what some of the reviewers, let's just see if I was correct in what I was saying. Okay, so here's one reviewer. He says, "Step right up, snake oil here for ya." That's 1-star rating. So you can kind of see where that one's going. And yeah, you know, that's typical of what you see for 1-star ratings for controversial titles that people just simply don't like right off the rip. So that was the, and again, it only has 5 reviews. Let's see what the 2-star review says. It's not popping up for some reason. So, but you know, the majority of them so far are 5-star reviews. Again, only 5 reviews so far. Book is really just come out, again, June 29th. So anyway, I just thought I'd come here with a quick video just to talk a little bit about that. I thought it was interesting to see that served to me by the Facebook algorithm. So I don't know if they remembered me from reading, somehow remembered me from reading White Fragility, or just my search habits. Maybe they thought that that would be appropriate for me. I do get served a lot of book ads, so that's probably shouldn't be overly surprising. But anyway, I thought I would just come back with this quick video just to show you that this was out there, and it'd be an interesting conversation that's going to be started with this particular book, because, you know, any discussions about racism can be very triggering for a lot of people. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but it promises to be quite interesting with this book coming out, and I might pick it up. We shall see. I'll probably wait and see how the reviews go a little bit longer before I make that choice to actually pick it up. So we shall see, but I do need to read some nonfiction books, so I probably will end up picking it up, because I did have a pretty good experience in terms of reading her first book, White Fragility. So we shall see, but that's it for now. If you could hit the like button for the video, and if you like content about books, whether it's reading or writing, and you want to continue to be abreast of that kind of content as it comes up, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well. And I'll see you with more videos on this channel.